Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolfe Pit with another episode of What Are We Eating? If you have the time and a grill or smoker, nothing beats a pork shoulder, rubbed down with your favorite barbecue rub, then slow smoke with your favorite smoke wood until it forms a beautiful, spicy bark on the outside that's surrounding succulent, moist and tender, smoky pork that you pull or chop apart and build your mountain high pulled pork sandwich, starting of course with the pulled pork, creamy coleslaw if you like, and finally your favorite barbecue or hot sauce. It doesn't get much better than that to me. But some people don't have a grill, smoker, or the time, or simply don't want to make their own smoky delicious pulled pork. They want convenience, and they pick up some pulled pork in a can, like these Swanson and Great Value cans of pulled pork. These 2 cans of pulled pork are from one of my first What Are We Eating videos, which actually helped get this series started. But unfortunately, you pay for convenience. You pay for the cost of the product, plus for the taste of the product. And the bottom line is, these sucked. And not surprisingly, they tasted nothing like pulled pork. More like dog or cat food. Not that I've ever tried dog or cat food. But my friend Daniel Walgas from Sweden sent me this 340 gram, or to us Americans, 12 ounce can of tulip pulled pork from Denmark to try. It comes with a convenient pull tab for easy opening, but other than the title, I couldn't read the rest of the information on the can. It was in Danish, so I had to pull up their website and Google Translate everything. The ingredients are 82% pork, which is a very good sign, especially since it's pulled pork. There's a little bit of cornstarch, it's just spices, water, and pork. So we're off to a good start. No TVP or other fillers. The serving size is 100 grams, or 3.5 ounces. Per serving, there's 128 calories, 6.4 grams of total fat, 2.4 grams of saturated fat, 1.5 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of sugars, 16 grams of protein, and 2.1 grams of salt, which converts to 814 milligrams of sodium. Tulip pulled pork is a super fast way to quickly get a good pulled pork as an accompaniment to different dishes. Say to heat in an oven tray at 200 degrees Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes, then when the meat is cooked, separate with 2 forks and mix in the cloud that remains.
Cloud that remains? What the hell does that mean? It sounds like a bad fart joke.
So let's open up our can of tulip pulled pork and see what the Danish are eating. Well, that's definitely not what I expected it to look like. It's a little bit scary looking, but I must carry on for you, the people, so you don't have to. When I make my own pulled pork, I leave the juices in the pan and mix them in with the meat. So that's what I did here. I poured the juices and the meat into a bowl. Once I started pulling the meat apart, I couldn't help to think that I was pulling apart smoked salmon. And the meat was much firmer than I expected. The more I broke up the meat, the more it looked like a combination of salmon and tuna. So I gave it a try right out of the can. As soon as I slid the meat in my mouth and bit down, I almost spit it right out. The flavor wasn't bad at all. It was actually pretty good with a good black pepper flavor. But the texture was horrible. Very, very rubbery, which really surprised me since it's real pork. Now I have to admit, I screwed the pooch on cooking this. I didn't translate the information on the can until after I did the video, so I totally messed up on that part. I microwaved it for a couple minutes, gave it a mix, and then microwaved for another minute just until it was warmed through. Once it was warmed through, I was hoping it changed the texture and absorbed some of the liquid. There was definitely less liquid, and it actually smelled pretty good. But it was more of a regular cooked pork aroma than it was barbecue pulled pork, like I pictured this being. But it doesn't say it's barbecue pulled pork, it just says it's pulled pork. It was time to give it another try and pray that the texture changed. Unfortunately, it didn't change at all. And this pork has one of the weirdest textures that I've ever had. And it really baffles me because it's all real meat. It has a little bit of cornstarch, but no TVP or other fillers. So it's all meat, so what would give it this weird texture? The texture really reminds me of the fake tuna texture. Very, very weird. But the overall flavor wasn't bad at all. Very peppery, which I like, and it had a good roast pork flavor. Let's give it a true taste test and make a pulled pork sandwich. Well, maybe a slider, not a full sandwich, because all I had were these King's Hawaiian slider rolls. I added some pulled pork, followed by my go-to store-bought barbecue sauce, Sweet Baby Ray's. I was really curious to see if the bread and sauce would help disguise the rubbery texture. from a visual standpoint, it looks really good. So I closed my eyes and said a quick prayer and gave it a bite. And the bread and barbecue sauce did help. It was actually pretty good in sandwich form. I could definitely eat it like this with no problem at all. Overall, this tulip pulled pork was pretty good flavor-wise. It was seasoned really good with a good amount of black pepper. On its own, the texture was very weird and not pleasant at all, whether it was straight out of the can or after heating it up. I wish I translated the heating directions first and heated it in the oven. But since it was rubbery before and after microwaving, I'm not really sure the texture would be much different. But the quality was good and the flavor was good. But with that texture, I'll have to give the tulip pulled pork a 5 out of 10. If I can get my hands on another can, I'll heat it up the right way and see if it's any different. If you'd like to help support the Wolfe Pit, consider being a patron. You can pledge as little as $1 a month. That's only $12 for the whole year. Or you can pledge more. That's up to you. Either way, every little bit's appreciated and helps me produce more high-quality videos more often for you, the people. Thank you all very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.